It's time for AggroChat, the official podcast of the Tales of the Aggronaut blog and stalwart gaming community, where we talk about stuff and things, and the stuff about the things, and sometimes gaming. I'm Belghast, and let's start the show. Hey folks, it's that time again. Time for another episode of AggroChat. This is episode 557. Tonight I'm joined by Ace.
Hello.
Ammo.
Hello.
Ashgar.
Hello.
Kodra.
Go 12.
And Thalen. We may have lost a Thalen.
Hello.
Okay. Relooted.
So I put this on the list. I don't know if I'm the only one playing this or not,
Nope.
but I'm glad other people are. I haven't put a ton of time into it yet, but I love this game conceptually on all of its levels. This is a heist parkour game where you are repatriating artifacts that have been looted into European museums. You are bringing them back to the African countries that they were stolen from. And what I've played so far is charming and fun. It's the gameplay is very gotta go fast, and it feels very satisfying when you make it work. And I said I haven't gotten super far, but it's fun just to see the kinds of crazy tricks that your character can pull off. And the characters are charming. I mean, immediately in the tutorial, the leader of your little heist gang is an old lady who is just sick of trying to repatriate these artifacts through proper channels and seeing people try to screw over the process. And I love that.
Yeah, I haven't picked this up yet, but everything about it looks amazing. I definitely am going to.
Yeah, so there's an interesting thing where there's like a setup phase and then a like parkour phase. So like you're basically told, hey, there's a bunch of different activities that you can do that are going to like trigger an alarm. But until you trigger an alarm, you can kind of like move about the space and see what is going on and sort of put people into positions so that like while you are parkouring your way through, they will be there to help you with various activities. And then you get to parkour and you get to like try and go fast. And it's very much like it's very much speedrunner routing like simulator type thing. And I love it.
I really like that you have that combination though of like the very slow, careful, thoughtful setup and then the frantic run.
And there's a whole bunch of different ways that like the run gets scored, which I also enjoy. Like I got silver rank on my first try, and then it was like, no, I need to get gold rank. Which mostly means you need to like hit your speed boosts. You need to like get out with. You have to get all of the items that you're supposed to get, and get out with like in a certain amount of time. And one like there's a parkour mode where you like go over small objects and like duck under other objects. And as you're like going over objects, there's a button you can press to like get a bit of a speed boost. And so there's a whole bunch of different thoughts to like, okay, what's actually the fastest way to get through this? But it's also neat because the game is very much going to sit you down and be like, let's explain in detail all of this African history that you, the audience, probably have not gotten before.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate the perspective on like every artifact, just lots of cool information.
Oh man, look at these. These are carvings that would have been like core to the like these temples built in ancient what we now know as India until the British stole them in the 19th century and took them back here. It's also got there's very clearly a little bit of like you're going to unlock new skills, and as you unlock new skills there's going to be like more things from various levels you can steal. Like even in the very first like official heist, they like call out an item where it's like, I don't think I can get that. It's like, yeah, maybe we'll have to come back for that later. And I know there is a demo for this game, which does show you like you've recruited another character in that demo. And so you have like a little bit more, you have different routings you can pull in and like decide where you want to place them.
It looks really cool. It also looks like the sort of thing I probably want to play with a controller and not a mouse keyboard.
On my list to load up and play. It's like loaded and installed. I just haven't sat down and played.
I mean, I am currently playing this with a new toy I've gotten, which is a like it's kind of like a fight pad, but with a D-pad instead of like a stick or like fight buttons, fighting game movement buttons. So I've been using
fighting game
that.
players sometimes refer to this as a mix box.
A mix box, thank you. And this has been working extremely well for me with this game because I've been like, it's the first time I've ever played this game, and so I'm playing it on this new control scheme, and everything feels very intuitive. And then I also have been using it to go back and play some Celeste and some Silk Song, and I definitely need to spend more time learning new muscle memory with those games. But I am definitely enjoying this mix box to do this parkour game. How far into this game have you gotten, Ace?
Not super far. I think I've just really finished the first actual mission. Like did the tutorial and one mission, and just tried it a couple times just to mess around with things.
Yeah, that's about how far I got. I mostly kept going back to the first mission because it kept saying there was a speed boost I missed. And this is one of the things that I've discovered is it sort of like to get gold, you have to hit every single speed boost. And it knows when you should have been able to hit a speed boost, but it only detracts if like on your route there was a speed boost you missed. So like on my first run, I got 6 of 7 speed boosts. On the one where I finally got gold, it was 5 of 5 because my route only had 5 available speed boosts to get. Because I was doing other things to go even faster. Because speed is something you can get in this game.
Yeah, it is fun to see the different options you have for making your escape.
There are a lot of paths out of here.
So Destiny Rising has been a pretty fun run, but it definitely feels like the game may be being thrown into maintenance mode.
That feels quick.
Yeah.
It's not great.
So basically okay. So the banner before last was a redo of Kabir, which is one of the free characters that you unlock through playing through the story. Not a great character, not an awful character, nothing terribly exciting. And also the redone version was like an archetype that we had a lot of characters for, like that have the specific weapon loadout that he came with. And that wasn't great. So we've been sitting here stockpiling our pulls because I don't care about more copies of Kabir. And then we get the new banner revealed, and it's a redo of Ikora, which was the other character that you get for free. And like is even less redone than Kabir. Like it's all the same
character. Different weapon loadout.
Yeah.
Which is just, yeah. And both of these they're giving both of these characters to you for free. So I think this is the weird heart of this for me is as much as I generally don't love the whole concept of gotcha games. They're way less fun when you don't have any reason whatsoever to pull.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I have well over 100 pink ships banked up and nothing I want to pull on.
Yeah, I'm
So
getting close to 200, and it's, it's bad enough that it's a character that I don't super care about, but since we're getting it for free anyway, if you log in every day and do your chores, it's even like I have even less motivation to care about pulling, and it's just kind of sucking the joy out of the game. And they have been adding some new things. And there's new content that we haven't done. Um, some of the new raid stuff I think takes actual coordination, and I don't have the energy to deal with strangers for that. Some of the new stuff I don't actually know how hard or not it is because nobody ever seems to be queuing for it.
yeah, that's the other piece is like progressively we've noticed that there's been fewer and fewer players available for queuing for anything. Like it takes longer to queue for something if we're not bringing a full group. It's like that's not great. Also, most of the whales that I had added as friends along the way are long gone, have been gone for like a couple months. So it just, yeah, I does not feel great for the game right now.
Have they farmed all of their whales?
Potentially. And the thing is like, even if they just brought back a redo of some of the other characters that we had seen earlier, that would have made me more happy than these loosely remixed characters.
Yeah, a repeat of one of the earlier banners, just a straight up repeat so that you could power them up a little bit, would honestly feel better than either of the two new ones that we have gotten. And I think, oh, go ahead.
I was kind of curious. How much interaction do like the various characters have with each other? Is it like is it something where it becomes more complex to add new characters as your like stable of characters grows?
Yes and no, because they're definitely voice acted, and they generally have a couple of lines that they will say when you queue with other specific characters. But it's also pretty noticeable that most of them will default to interacting with Wolf, like the generic first character you get.
Hmm.
Um, so I think that they're using that to minimize the amount of individual interactions they need to have.
Well, and we've also gotten like, they've added more story to the game, but it's been like the most bare minimum of story you could possibly have. It's mostly just a series of cutscenes that we watch between two talking head holograms.
With Radagast grunting.
That was the worst. Is the first couple of them had Radagast, but they didn't even bring back the voice actor. And anytime he said it line, it just goes.
Oh no.
Like
Mm?
Rat is the character's name Radagast?
Yeah, Radagast.
Okay, so not to be confused with Radagast the Brown.
No, one of the original Iron Lords from Destiny 1. But same spelling. Yeah, like
Was there another Iron Lord named Gandalf?
no.
Who would have actually got that one?
I mean, Radagast, clearly he was a nerd. It's like with the one dude in the movie version of The Martian. It's like, I will be Glorfindel.
But yeah, the other issue with the characters is that in pretty much all the other gacha games that I've played, if not every banner, every couple of banners, you don't just get a new 5-star character, there's also new 4-star characters. And you may or may not care about them that much, but they're interesting and they make pulling on the banner a little bit more worthwhile because you're not just chasing the chase character. And there's, I think, only been
There's only been one. Yeah. One 4-star.
Yeah, one 4-star character that's been added since the original batch from the launch. So that doesn't feel great either.
I hear that
And a
the
lot-
gacha games suffer with a lot. Like, they have a hard time introducing new characters that aren't just the top tier.
I mean, I understand why it's difficult because especially established players are probably not going to care that much, but it also just feels bad when there's nothing new. I don't know. I don't know how to fix that particular problem, but it's just extremely noticeable here.
Yeah, a lot of times, like the Hoyoverse games, they introduce new gameplay elements, so you feel like you want to get the new characters, even if they're 4-stars, because, oh, they can do this thing in this new gameplay mode or whatever. And it doesn't seem like Destiny Rising has the same sort of mentality for that.
Yeah.
Well, there's been no expansion of the world
Yeah.
since release either.
And the other games also give more, you get more story through the 4-star characters. Even if you don't care about playing them, you'll probably play them enough to unlock their story if that's a thing you care about. And yeah, there's just not a lot of new narrative in Destiny Rising.
And as they added new characters, at some point they stopped giving them missions, really, because like I don't think Jaren had any missions, did he?
Yeah, he did.
He did? Okay.
Obviously, it really stuck with you.
Apparently. Like I remember Maru's, but apparently I just didn't care anything about Jaren's.
But I mean, the moment to moment of the game is still really fun. I'm still playing it every day. And there's some new events. There's a, Lunar New Year event. Things, smaller things that are new to do that are fun. And the existing stuff is still as fun as it was. It's just not new anymore. I don't know. I want this game to succeed, but I have an increasingly sinking feeling that it's not necessarily long for this world.
Yeah, basically it didn't launch in China at the same time as it did North America, and from what I've heard, it didn't launch terribly well in China, so this may all be ramifications of that.
Yeah.
Speaking of games that got an update that I never thought would have gotten an update, Diablo II got a new class and some additional functionality, including like a loot stash and loot filters and
No, not Diablo 3. Why would you think Diablo
Diablo
3?
2. Did I say Diablo 3?
No, you said 2.
Okay. Yeah. So basically everything but Diablo 1 and Diablo 3 are getting the Warlock eventually. It is going to Diablo Immortal and it's going to Diablo 4, but it is now in Diablo II Resurrected. That piece is very important because some years back, Vicarious Visions, now Blizzard Albany, redid basically Diablo 2, where it's essentially almost like an emulator that runs the old code that then renders it with prettier graphics. It's interesting the way that it works. But there's now a new class in Diablo 2. And it's shockingly good. Like it's way better than starting as like say a druid, where you mostly just kind of feel like a crappy barbarian for a while.
I think this druid is awful in that game.
And they did some interesting stuff. So like instead of wielding your like a weapon normally, you make the weapon levitate, and then you bonk people over the head with the weapon. And you can pretty much summon a demon, like a demon goat person, really quickly, and then they just wreck everything for you. It's wild. Like, it's definitely probably the best start for Diablo 2.
So, but this is not Diablo 2 that I got because it was Diablo 2 a game of the month?
Yeah,
It was.
Yeah, we
one of my
did.
picks.
And then I think we all
We-
decided, like,
most of us didn't
it
play it
just
very
doesn't
far.
hold up.
I played that, I want to say, all the way to the end for some reason because I was way too dedicated. That game does not hold up.
I started playing it and decided I'd rather play Path of Exile. So I started learning Path of Exile. I
Yeah.
stopped playing Path of Exile shortly after that because Path of Exile is hard to get into. But
Yeah, it was my pick for the game of the month, and I didn't even get that far in it.
Yeah, like this is specifically for the Resurrection version, which was, I don't know, probably released 4 or 5 years ago.
If I thought Diablo 2 was hard to get into, is Resurrection going to be different in any way?
Not in a meaningful
really.
manner.
Okay.
It's prettier, but it's still the same gameplay.
I'm going to continue to pretend that this does not exist.
Yeah, there's a community supported like mod for Diablo 2, which is apparently really good. I've never played it, and this doesn't work with that, so kind of the community is annoyed by that
aw,
Warlock won't exist ever in their mod pack. But it's still pretty wild. Like, this was not on the cards for 2026 for me.
So this, but it doesn't yet exist in Diablo 4.
Now, so I think timing wise is end of April, which is I think when the expansion's dropping. So like this may coincide with the release of the expansion.
I have to stress that it is weird that this came out in Diablo 2 first before Diablo 4.
Yeah, Lord of Hatred drops on April 28th. So Warlock is coinciding with that.
Is it going to be in Diablo Immortal? Does that still exist?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. That is apparently getting it in June in Diablo Immortal. I don't know. I haven't touched it since release.
I don't know. I don't have a phone.
speaking of gacha games.
Like, it was, Diablo Immortal wasn't a bad game. It was just egregious on the gacha side. Like, it was a game that people literally dropped hundreds of thousands of dollars in.
Concerning.
Rank and Flank, an older era of minis games.
So I play a lot of minis games. This has come up once or twice. Some people at work, including my boss's boss, are really into the old world and have been trying to get me to play it with them for 2 years now. And I had made the mistake of thinking that Warhammer the Old World was kind of like Pathfinder 1 or like Warhammer Horus Heresy, aka 30K, in that it was kind of a like Sour Grapes spin-off game of an edition past. Because like I played Warhammer Warhammer Fantasy Battles like a number of years ago, a larger number than I want to think about at the present moment. And like I don't miss that game because ultimately it wasn't very good. It was doing a thing that nobody else is doing, which is this like rank and flank fantasy. Mostly you've got to go into like historicals for that. But part of it was I played Wood Elves and it was terrible. Playing Wood Elves was just misery. But like it just wasn't a very interesting game, even when it was working right. And it had so many fiddly bits that weren't it was just an older era of game. And like really it was very much like the Warhammer, like really what they want you to do is have this like historical simulationist view for it rather than I'm playing a game. And so it's like, I don't know, roll a bunch of dice and see what happens, and then tell your friends stories about the battle that you had. And just, I don't know, not my scene for a game. And I had, again, mistakenly thought that Warhammer the Old World was that. It's not true. Unlike Horus Heresy, which basically is just a love letter to 7th edition Warhammer 40k for reasons that I cannot comprehend. Old World is actually a completely different game, and it is very much a game. And I have said, I think I have possibly even on this show in the past said, I don't know why this game exists when Age of Sigmar exists. And I'm basically here to eat my words on that one because I totally understand why it exists. It is doing a completely different thing than Age of Sigmar is, and like it actually the thing that it's doing is it is a game about formations and positioning, and like there's a lot of you know your units are a bunch of models in like a rectangle, but like the orientation of that rectangle is actually super important. And like I realize how much the Total War series is taking from this style of game. Like having read the rules, having read through the rule book and understanding how it translates into a game like Total War. Oh, okay. I both get this and I understand Total War better. Which is the same kind of game where it's like, oh, you've got these units with a whole bunch of people and you can change the way they're laid out, and they, there's this rock paper scissors balance where like cavalry really loves to run down, archers, but archers are great against pikemen, but pikemen are great against cavalry, kind of. Like it's more complicated than that. But as a result, it's like, okay, I understand what this game is doing, and it looks pretty neat. Like I've gotten like one demo game in, and it is just like nothing like minis games that I've played before, and it's a lot more. It's much more on the strategy than the tactics, and I think that's sort of interesting. Like it is very much a game where like it's more useful to think a few turns ahead because your opponent isn't just gonna hit you twice and now this unit's completely gone, so your plan involving that unit is gone. Like it's less instantly deadly. Like I get why people are into it.
See, I just assumed Old World existed so Tomb King's players had something to do. Since they're not allowed in Age of Sigmar.
Yeah, also not allowed in Age of Sigmar is half the models I own.
Yeah. And like
I'm still mad about that.
Part of it is also like I'm not super enamored of the current edition of Age of Sigmar. Like I like fantasy games. I'm not super thrilled about the current edition of Age of Sigmar. I think that the like demo Spearhead version is actually very fun, but the full size games are just not really my jam. And there's just like weird things about its rules that I understand why they exist, but it's not necessarily a game I want to play. Whereas this is like, oh, this is doing something different, and it continues to get support and it continues to be more and more different than Age of Sigmar, which I think is cool. But I don't know. It's just interesting to see something that, like, I don't know, partly just because I've been hounded at work to try this game. We love it. Like, all right, sure, I will give it a go.
Is this the like you have battle trays with like square minis in it?
Yep.
Okay.
Routing rules and
Yeah,
all that nonsense.
Yeah, it's got all kinds of. It's very much modernized, but the reading through the rules, they feel like rules that were written this decade and not 3 decades ago. Which I like, but it is very much there's a lot of positioning is important. Your morale actually matters. The way your units move actually matters. It's got like when you finish combat, you like might give ground. It's not just clash in the middle and roll dice until somebody's dead. There's like, oh, did you just go back a little bit, or did you actually outright flee? And it's like I said, I don't have a ton of experience with it, but it's just been neat to see something that's doing something very different than what I'm used to, and doesn't feel archaic in the way that I was expecting it to, which has been good. And it actually feels supported. They're definitely going through a lot of the old factions and updating the model line. Like they've done it with dwarves, they've done it with high elves. It's like not complete, but they're definitely working on it. It's amusing to me that the current, just for what it's worth, meta-dominating factions are Vampire Counts and Beastmen, after Cathay got justifiably nerfed, like earlier this month, or like it's last month. But like, also, basically, as long as you're not playing Wood Elves and you weren't playing stupid nonsense with Cathay previously, like the game's actually feels pretty balanced from what I've heard, which is kind of nice to see. They're moving at a much slower pace. But also I like that you can also play factions that aren't just like everything sucks all the time, which is a thing that is sort of hard to do. Like Warhammer doesn't usually like to do that, and I don't feel like it's normally better. Like it's better for it.
Yeah, the old world, much like the 40k world, is a crap sack.
Yeah, and this is an old world from before the original Warhammer Fantasy Battles,
Right.
and it's less of a crap sack,
Well, that's nice.
which is kind of neat. It's not like Warhammer Fantasy used to kind of revel in how much it sucked to be everybody, and this one is definitely not doing that, and it you see it in a lot more of the stuff. Like the new elf models are clean and put together and what you would expect, but also I've been putting together Cathay because I'm a sucker for conical hats and jade, but I don't know, all of the minis have these little personal touches that I really love on them. Like many of them are carrying teapots. In the big balloon is a table, and on the table are snacks. The giant walking statue has like little it's like little children's prayer streamers attached to the ankles because they couldn't reach any higher because the thing's huge. But yeah, I'm looking forward to playing more and just trying stuff out because it's nice to I don't know. I had the same frustration with Age of Sigmar, like not because it did hit factions that I played, but not in a way that was just totally devastating the way it was for Ash. And so I had been like predisposed against Old World because it's like, oh, you dumped the stuff from Age of Sigmar to put it in Old World. But like, I don't know. I feel a little differently about it because I feel like Old World is its own legitimate thing in a way that, like, I'm still mad at Age of Sigmar about it, but I don't like blame the Old World development for what happened there.
Mm-hmm.
Jury's still out on the scatter dice, though.
This week we had a state of play. It was pretty packed full of stuff.
The thing I'm most excited about is a new Castlevania game apparently is coming out.
That does sound really cool.
I'm pretty excited for that one.
It's so weird that it's coming out. I guess some people sat down and had a very reasonable chat.
Based on who it's coming from, that has to be true. The developers are Evil Empire, who did most of the Dead Cells DLC, and Motion Twin, who did the rest of Dead Cells. And they had a bit of a public falling out when Dead Cells wrapped up development. So it is interesting to see them working together on this project. Evil Empire also did the Prince of Persia roguelike, if you've played that.
I did like that Prince of Persia roguelike.
We got more gameplay footage from the new Control game, and while I'm still sad it's not Jesse Faden, it still looks really cool.
Yeah.
I will play anything they put in front of my face.
The oldest house is apparently leaked all over New York. Have fun with that.
And you get to play with gravity. That seems fine.
Really looking forward to playing Death Stranding 2 finally, since I was waiting until it came out on PC.
I will probably end up picking up the Marvel fighting game.
I was going to say, it continues to look nonsense.
Oh, it looks great.
And magic looks fantastic.
Certainly an interesting decision on characters there.
In particular, I was not expecting Danger. That's weird. I'm not even sure what her status is in the comics right now.
I mean, there's been a history of Marvel video games making random Marvel characters way more popular than they had been previously.
That's true.
This kind of happened to Omega Red in MVC2.
I mean, also, I'm pretty sure X-Men versus Street Fighter is the main reason a lot of people are aware at all that Sabretooth had a person named Birdie working for him.
Fair. Yeah, that too.
She was not in the comics for very long at all.
I'm kind of surprised that Kenna, or however you pronounce it, did well enough to get a sequel.
Same. Must have done real well on PlayStation. I just checked. I think the PC one might have been Epic's exclusive for a while.
Yeah, so that always halts a game on the PC platform. But the sequel looks good. Like it looks like more of the world expands.
I never played Kenna. What is that?
Kind of shepherd around these weird little spirits and interact with the world and solve puzzles and also do combat, kind of. It was pretty. It looked cute.
Like a Pixar art style kind of vibe.
Yep. I'm also still interested in Darwin's Paradox.
I think I missed that one.
It is a game about an octopus trying to escape to save the world from aliens.
Okay.
Sure.
I'm into
Yes,
it.
please.
And like part of the whole stealth mechanic is blending in with backgrounds, and like I think we've only ever seen it one other time, but this was kind of the, it's still alive and it might come out at some point. Okay, Kodra, tell us about Thinky Games.
So Thinky Games has apparently been a video games journalism site doing specifically articles and awards about puzzle games. I've discovered them because they've started doing dailies. They have daily puzzles from a whole bunch of really big creators in the paper puzzle creating world, and they just wrapped up their first season, which is about 61 puzzles that were released every day. And I believe you can still go to thinkygames.com, and you might have to solve a puzzle to get access to them, but it's not a terribly difficult puzzle, and all of the puzzles are really fun. They're a lot of the concepts of puzzles that I've done, only much smaller and much more consumable, designed to be solved in a relatively short amount of time. Although there's definitely been a couple that really took me a while to figure out, I will say. Usually the ones that are more abstract and less solve this logic puzzle. But yeah, I'm always happy to see anyone who's coming into the daily puzzle space and trying something new, especially because it does seem like New York Times' puzzle section is the only thing keeping that paper afloat these days.
I've been really enjoying Puzzmo.
I've also played a little bit of Puzzmo. I like Thinky Games a little bit better, as they are more my style of puzzle. There is one discrete solution to every puzzle.
Yeah.
But Puzzmo is a fun take on a different brand of puzzle, which I also enjoy. But I just wanted to they just wrapped up. They did a meta puzzle to wrap it up, where there was an extraction. You had to go back and look at the whole list of puzzles that you have solved. That whole fun thing as a nice keystone. And what I thought was very cute, there was a sort of story connecting all of the puzzles in a given season together. There was a titular character. There was the character that you were following around, and then all of the various ways that they would get stopped and would have to then go solve a puzzle and the mysteries they were trying to solve. It's very lighthearted, but very good. And again, they got some world-class crafters to work on these puzzles, so I really appreciated that.
And you've also been playing more Shape of Dreams?
I have. I've actually beaten Shape of Dreams now. I have beaten the first Dreamer.
I have died to the first Dreamer several times.
Yeah, I've died to the first Dreamer twice, and I've beaten it once. Boy, it felt like the build I had when I beat it felt unkillable, and it still almost killed me.
One hell of a final boss on that game.
It is one hell of a final boss. What phase did you die in?
I want to say phase 3 or 4.
Okay, there are
there was
three
almost
phases.
no floor left.
Yeah, there was what?
Almost no floor left.
Yeah, you died in phase 3. Phase 3 is where I was like, I basically had a build where every melee hit I was like almost full healing myself because I was playing the healer, as you do. Which meant I was doing a lot of punching people to heal myself. And that game also has, like, the game, it has a lot of depth to it that I'm still just like starting to appreciate. I just yesterday got my first build that got to a unique skill.
Oh,
And unique skills are impressive. I got Burrow, and once I got Burrow, I could put enough points into it that it kind of like changed the entire game on me. But there's so many systems. It is definitely a game with a lot of depth to it, but it's still like one of the things that is still fascinating is even with as much depth as it has in like the character builds that I can do, and that's very fun. It doesn't necessarily feel like it has like the deviations going on from a narrative perspective. And I was kind of comparing this again to Hades 2 because they are at least superficially similar games. And I really do appreciate Hades 2, how much it manages to keep every single, the fact that after every single run, it feels like the story has progressed. And your previous run is part of the history, and now you are on to your next run, as opposed to where this game feels like each and every run, even though there is progress I am making and like my characters are changing, I don't feel like the run I did before affects the run I'm like, they feel like completely disjointed activities. And it strikes me how much more just having that narrative cohesion really did put Hades 2 over the top for me. And I kind of appreciate it because I know that had to be so much work to get that much story into a game that you're supposed to run like 50 times. It's insane, but it's very impressive. But I'm having a good time with it still, and I still want to do more multiplayer with it because it is a fun multiplayer experience.
I gotta try that.
Yep, we should do multiplayer at some point.
So I put this topic on the list, and I don't know how much I have to really say about it. But the failures of Highguard and 2XKO, and by definition of failure, they have reached a point where they've laid off almost all their developers.
see, but that makes it even more frustrating for 2XKL because that game is continuing development. It's releasing new characters. They just decided after launch they didn't need half the people they launched with.
Yeah.
Absolutely gross.
Highguard is probably more of a, like, it is technically still something you can play, but probably won't be for very long. I played it when it came out. It was fine. Like, it was a mechanically competent game, but it was just doing a bunch of things that didn't necessarily lend itself to being a fun experience.
It's fascinating to see how quick a game goes from I feel like I am in a time dilation. I haven't even gotten a chance to try Highguard, and now I never will.
Hey, technically, you can play it
Would
right
you
now.
have played it anyway? A team-based 3v PvP game?
I played some Overwatch. I played a decent amount of Overwatch. I didn't even hate Overwatch. I actually, like, it's one of those things is it's very funny because like my gaming roots are team-based PvP games.
Fair.
I do feel like somebody should, if somebody successfully manages to reintroduce capture the flag to me, I will probably try it again. I don't think this is capture the flag. This is still like move the objective, right? Get on the point.
So this is more like base versus base combat in Rust in a pseudo hero shooter trappings.
No one was quite sure what to make of this game, including people who played it.
Yeah, like you can build up your base, but also you can rip through a base in seconds. So I don't know, even if you fortified the base. So like that was part of it. Like I don't even know what the point of fortifying bases was, because Okay, so instead of it took 3 hits to get through a wall instead of 1 hit. It was weird. Like I don't know. And one of the things that's kind of come out in the last few days is, I guess, when they were doing the internal testing, they were specifically targeting very positive outlets to invite to events. And I think it maybe gave them an artificial sense that everyone was going to love the game. Because there's a developer that's come out and is like utterly confused by the game falling flat because I guess people had told them that, it was like too good to fail. It was so like that tells me that you got a weirdly positive feedback loop that didn't hold up once people actually started playing it. And the thing is, like, the game had, I don't know, 100,000 concurrent players or so on launch day. There were lots of streamers that were playing it and trying to give it a shot. It had a lot of technical difficulties. I played, probably an hour and a half or so. The tutorial was explicitly awful, and it was unskippable. So there's probably a lot of people that never made it through the tutorial.
Oh.
But also, like, the gameplay loop wasn't that fun. Like, guns with mounts is kind of cool, but the maps were really big for 3v3 as well. And I guess shortly after launch, they released 5v5, and that felt better, people said. Because, like, it's a really big map for only 3 players on a side. And there was also this inexplicable loot aspect to it when you eventually reached a point where you're just buying your weapons off the vendor before matches. So it was a bunch of ideas that had kind of been looted from other games that were mashed together in probably technically a new experience, but it didn't really land. Like, there wasn't anything cohesive to it. So I kind of feel like this is the challenge. In a single player game, people are always looking for more single player game experiences because they're effectively finite experiences. But in the land of forever games, I feel like it takes a lot to dislodge players from the previous forever game.
Yes.
So you kind of have
has
to,
been
like,
a noted problem since people started trying to make WoW killers.
Right. Like, you kind of have to come out of the gate and clearly give a firm explanation of why this game is funner than the previous ones.
Which is impossible.
Or like, what are you
request?
Right. Like, you gotta be saying at least,
it is
what
doable,
are you doing differently?
Real difficult. The latest successful example is Marvel Rivals, and it benefited a lot from Blizzard dropping the ball.
Yeah, like, I was gonna say, I don't know that. I think the only Marvel Rivals feels like, okay, you got the IP tie-in, and that's very powerful. But
they did also nail the gameplay.
They nailed the gameplay, but I don't think that those two things would have been enough if Blizzard had not also dropped the ball. Like, the thing that scares me is that it feels like it is no longer sufficient to make a good.
You do have to actually make a good game, though. Like that doesn't mean where you start.
Yeah, like you have to make a good game. Like, that's but you had to make a good game was, like, basically true always baseline. Like, it's never not been true that you have to make a good game. And, like, the bar for what is a good game has definitely changed over time.
I think you have to make, especially if you're trying to, like, I'm not even going to say displace forever game players. You almost need to have something novel that, like, a reason why people want to play your game over another, because it is something new and interesting.
Yeah.
I just don't.
You've got to have a hook.
I'm not sure. I think that trying to make forever games is even a good idea.
Yeah.
Like,
but that seems to be the only thing that investors have any appetite for anymore.
I mean, sadly,
well, now
investors don't have any appetite for anything at all anymore.
I was going to say, it's starting to become questionable if they have any appetite for even that. So,
like, there's a fascinating thing that, like, it is much easier to self-publish than it ever has been. And there's this open question about what publishers are for. Because if I if I go to talk to investors, they're like, we would like to see a game that's no more than 6 months out from launch. Like, build the entire game before you come and ask us for money. And that's just the environment right now. And like,
And if you can do that, why do you need them?
right.
Yeah.
Because there's just no appetite for any kind of risk whatsoever. But like, you can't actually make successful games without taking some kind of risk. Because otherwise you're just making something that everybody's played before.
Yeah.
Which is laughable considering that they're just these same investors are throwing money away into the AI bubble.
I was gonna say, you could say AI a bunch of times.
Yep.
I mean, I wish even that worked. I don't know. I feel like there was. I mean, definitely all of the pandemic era investment in games is like drying up super hard. But I'm worried about the next few years in games. There's like, if you're already successful, you can kind of hang on. But I don't know. Maybe there's a bunch of stuff that's just like incredibly good waiting in the wings that just nobody's seeing because they don't have to. But
I think what happened, or what at least has been happening with a lot of these games, is the X but Y pattern doesn't work anymore. Where it's like this other market leader, but we're doing this instead. But it's not enough to dislodge that market leader.
Yeah. I don't know that dislodging the market leader has ever really worked, though.
There have been a few. Fortnite is the first one I can think of there. The most recent one, anyway.
Where they just kicked...
Where they just kicked PUBG to the curb.
Yeah. Yeah, if you've got a big publisher essentially pressuring out somebody smaller than they are, that definitely happens. That's true.
I mean, that was Blizzard's business model for a while.
Yeah. But like, Blizzard's not successfully doing it anymore.
I also feel, and perhaps even more concerning news, like I feel like Roblox is currently dislodging Minecraft, which doesn't make me happy. But I also worry that Roblox is dislodging like most games targeted at kids.
Yep.
It's not good. There's some stuff that's still like well-established studios are still around and making stuff. Like Creative Assembly has some very exciting stuff on the horizon. They're the Total War folks. And they've announced they announced Warhammer 40K Total War, which is huge for anybody who is into that sort of thing.
Yeah,
it is wild to me that that's coming out, and also another Dawn of War game is coming out at the same time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're totally different games.
They are, but they are adjacent markets.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of overlap between the people that play those two games.
Maybe. Like, Total War is like playing Civ, whereas Dawn of War is like
more RTS.
It's like what if you took an RTS and made it arcade? And I think that was a great, like, fantastic. Like, Dawn of War was great. Dawn of War and Dawn of War 2 were both great games. And I didn't play Dawn of War 3, but I've heard people say reasonably nice things about it once they got over like performance issues and stuff.
I don't know if this was mentioned at State of Play, but another thing that got announced recently was Horizon Hunter's Gathering.
I am hyped about this game.
I'm very interested, yes.
Like, it looks really cool. Really want to play it. I realize that Monster Hunter is right there, but also, like, I'm really interested in seeing somebody else's take on Monster Hunter, and also I will play in the Horizon world a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, well, and they're robot dinosaurs. That makes them doubly cool.
Yeah, way
That's
cool.
very cool.
And the art style is gorgeous.
The only part of it that like is going to be interesting to see how it plays out is the fact that it's got a little bit of the gotcha / hero shootery kind of thing going on, where you're playing fixed characters.
Is it a gotcha game?
I use that as a point of reference. You are playing fixed characters.
Yeah.
As opposed to like wielding a weapon.
Yeah, as opposed to I'm going to create my own character and I'm going to use whatever weapons I want to use. You're playing a fixed character with a fixed weapon loadout stuff.
I feel like that is more development work, but I don't mind that actually because it allows your characters to have more personality, theoretically.
Well, and I think it also allows them to probably make it more exciting when they add more characters down the line.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, it does look like characters do have multiple like I guess, multiple loadouts, multiple roles.
Yeah, build path type
Yeah.
things. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's how Diablo works.
I've seen really cool stuff done with it. I don't need a character creation screen.
Yeah, not every game needs a massive detailed character creation screen. It's really okay. That's not new and exciting anymore.
Well, and in truth, it probably makes the game way more digestible.
Mhm.
I find it hilarious that Erend is the one who is organizing everyone.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
It's like a bad ideas squad.
The characters that I've seen all look awesome.
Yes, like very distinctive and very
Yeah,
good
like
looking.
it's one of those things that I feel like Aloy in Horizon is very distinctive, and as such is like has a very particular bow and spear kind of vibe. But and you get the impression that there's a bunch of people that have like other vibes, and it's cool to see that expressed where it's like, oh yeah, this person fights a very different way. It's the same like improvised tech weaponry thing, but not way.
Yeah. And
Well,
the old
and the
dude has a jet
champions-
hammer, and I love a jet hammer.
The champions definitely also seem to like super lean into the various cultures of the game, because like I know there was one person that was just like super Karja. I signed up for the beta. We'll see if I get in. Any other short topics before we wrap things up?
The angel boss in Rabbit and Steel can just bite it.
Which one is that?
Third boss of Dark House Deaths.
Oh, is that the paladin one with all of the?
Yeah, by far my worst boss.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I have a build where my AOE just makes that kind of trivial.
A lot of people are saying that the third boss of the Subterra Sanctum is their worst boss. And I find that one pretty easy on many of the classes I play. That's the one that presents you with 1,000,000 different targets. And man, Drew just loves this.
I made it through normal maps in Freesia League and got my 2 easy Void Stones. I don't know how much further I'll actually make it. Also, next week is probably going to be the start of spoiler season proper for 3.28.
Is
Path
that
of Exile?
new PoE 1 league?
Yeah, new PoE 1 league.
I don't know that I've got PoE 1 still in me.
I'm more likely to have PoE 1 in me than PoE 2.
That's
Still.
fair.
Yeah.
I still greatly prefer PoE 1 to PoE 2.
Well, that's the thing is like I'm now really enjoying PoE 2 gameplay. The end game, like PoE 1's end game, it does feel better because there's more stuff in it, and there's more like that's actually because there was just that last epoch. Hey, what should we do? And part of it is like somehow you need to make your end game feel like it has a like bit more of a shape to it.
Monolith is a shape, right?
Monolith is a shape, a singular shape.
Yes, it is the only shape.
Yeah,
It's-
they need another shape.
And this is the thing is like I when I got really into PoE 1, the way that I stayed into PoE 1's end game was because I was hunting achievements. And there's a lot you can do in PoE 1 to craft interesting achievement lists. And I feel like all of those things do not currently exist in Last Epoch. I
Yeah,
wish
like,
there was more ways to like guide me to different content for interesting reasons.
I love Last Epoch, but it kind of has the problem that Diablo 3 had for me, where it was like a fun week and a half to 2 weeks, and then I'm just kind of like out of things I want to do in the end game. And that's not to say that it's not a really amazing week to 2 weeks.
It's an interesting thought. Like, is that okay though? Like, maybe you just have a really cool week to 2 weeks.
It is okay if you have if you do it often enough.
Yeah,
But it sounds like they weren't doing it often enough, and people were not playing their game.
that's a problem.
Well, and I think more importantly, people weren't buying their cosmetics.
Their cosmetics were kind of overblown and bad. Still kind of
They're,
are.
they're not the best. Like, most of the weapon cosmetics are just arguably bad. I don't know. Like, that's kind of the challenge I have with Last Epoch is I think fundamentally they need to redo their models.
That's real rough to say, though.
I know, like, that's a big problem. but like I don't know that they're ever going to get really good MTX on the current models.
Oh, I don't have a lot to say about it, but the Cult of the Lamb DLC is pretty fun.
I have been watching someone else play it, and it looks really cool.
Yes, I
I've
should
been
go
really
back
enjoying it.
and try it. Yes.
Seeing that did prompt me to get back into Cult of the Lamb, so
Yeah,
maybe
like,
I'll eventually get to the DLC.
that game was fun. I really like that game. I beat that game. I got the DLC. I'm going to DLC. It's a delight. I wasn't very good at it when I hopped back in because I forgot how it played.
Well, that is probably a show. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and we will see you again next week. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
See you.